Hey guys, it's Eric with Painting Business Pro. In this video, I want to talk about the end game of your painting business and whether or not you should plan on selling your company or what the alternatives are, which is what I'm going to recommend. So we want to start real quick by reviewing the steps to building your painting business. And it's important to keep in mind that when you start a painting company, the real value in building a painting business isn't for what you accomplish in the first year or even the first 2 years. The real value is in what you build, and you really reap the benefits of that in years 3, 4, 5, and beyond. All right, so now let's get right into it. So when you start the business, you start where we say is phase one. All right, phase one is really about building the foundation of your business, which includes marketing systems, sales systems, and production systems. So you are out there doing marketing to generate prospective customers, you're doing sales to turn those customers into paying customers, and you're creating an effective production process to deliver on your promises to customers in a profitable and efficient way. All right, so that's what phase one is all about. And at the end of phase one, how we know you're done with phase one is when you can consistently do 10 estimates a week, sell $10,000 a week in revenue, and produce that revenue profitably and efficiently. All right, so at this stage in the game, you should be doing $10,000 per week in sales, and you should be able to net about $3,000 to $4,000 per week in profit during the good season of the year. Now, this is not a 52-week-a-year business. You know, when we plan our annual goals, we plan for about 40 weeks of business, and the other 12 weeks of the year, we still get some business, we still paint some houses, but that's all bonus for us. So when we plan our annual goals, we plan for a 40-week year, and when you're completing phase one, you should be doing $10,000 a week in sales, making $3,000 to $4,000. Then we move into phase two, because at this point, you should be working full-time. You're going to be busy, and you only have two options to grow your company from there. You can either start working 70 or 80 hours a week, or you can start to build a team. I recommend starting to build a team because I'm not all about working 70 or 80 hours a week. I'm all about having it all in life. That's the reason I'm an entrepreneur, and I think life balance is really important. So then we move into phase two. Phase two is about building your team. So that's going to consist usually of hiring a production manager and someone who can oversee all of your production. So once the contract is signed, they take care of everything until the final check is collected. So production manager, that also includes sales representatives, salespeople who are going to be going out and running appointments, doing the estimates and selling the jobs. And then when your company gets big enough, that may also include a marketing manager and someone who's going to be 100% responsible and accountable for managing the marketing of your business. Now, there may be a couple other people you hire along the way. We're just talking about the main focus of the business. Of course, yes, you might need to get an accountant. You might want to get an administrative assistant or something like that along the way. You might have some door-to-door marketers, but those are all going to fit into this system. All right, so phase two is really about building your team. And one of the things before we move on, one of the things that's really important with building a team is keeping your people around. Because you invest a lot of time and energy into hiring people, training people, and developing that relationship. And so if someone's been working with you for 2 or 3 years and then they walk out the door, that really, really hurts. That is a lot of work to get that person replaced and back up to par. And one of the ways that we keep our employees around is we make sure they always have opportunities to grow and opportunities to grow in their career and to make more money and to do more, because that's what people are interested in. If you have a glass ceiling in your company and you don't have opportunities for your employees to continue to grow, they're going to look for those opportunities elsewhere, and you're going to lose the great people that you've put so much time and energy into. So then we move into, so this is the point here where this phase, this can take your business to $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million. All right, so phase three is what happens next. And so you've got an option right here, somewhere in here, sometime during building a team. That's when you would be best off to sell the company, because in phase one, you can't get a lot of money for your company. You're doing everything. But in phase two, now you've got a pretty big size company. It's generating a lot of profit. Now, here's why I don't recommend selling your painting business. In the service industry, what is standard for the sale price of a business is 1 year's earnings. So that, and the way that's usually calculated, or one way to calculate that, is you take the last 2 years' profit, you add it up, and then you divide it by 2, and that's what the business sells for. So if 2 years ago you made $150K, and then last year you made $250K, that's $400,000. That's an average of $200,000. All right, so that's what you can sell your business for, is for $200,000. But you just made $250,000 last year, which means this upcoming year you're probably going to make $250,000 to $300,000. So if you sell your business for 200 grand, basically you're just getting 1 year's of income without having to work. And that's not that exciting. If you sell that business for 200 grand, you can take that $200,000 and you can invest it. And if you invest it and you get a mediocre 6% return, that's $12,000 a year that you can earn from your investment of that 200 grand from selling your business. Now I want to present you with an alternative route to go that kills two birds with one stone. One of the reasons that your team members leave the company, which really damages the company, is they don't have opportunities to grow. They don't have opportunities to grow in their career. And one way to give your employees opportunities to grow, especially your best employees, is to give them some equity in the company. So your best people, you could give them 10% equity, 20% equity. Let's just say you're really generous and you give your top 2 employees 25% ownership in the company each for a total of 50%. So you say, hey, John and David, you guys have really earned it. I want to move on to other things. You're going to take over running the company. You're going to be head of production. You're going to be head of marketing and sales. And you're going to keep your salaries. And I'm going to give you each 25% ownership in the company for a total of 50%. Now, you just gave them a huge, huge promotion in their career. And now since they own the company and they have profit, they have unlimited upside. As long as they continue to grow the company, they continue to grow their income. And so you've given them a future career opportunity to continue to grow in their career, which keeps people around, especially your best employees. Now, here's the next thing, is when you do that to people, they're going to be motivated out of their mind to grow this business. But let's say that they don't grow the business. Let's say they keep it exactly the way it is. Well, then you're not going to get this $200,000. But what you are going to do is you're going to make $250,000 again. You're going to get half of that. So you're going to get $125,000 that next year, and your only job is to support John and David. So maybe you do a meeting a week with John and a meeting a week with David, so a couple hours a week. All right, so you're still involved a little bit, but let's be honest, you built this company. It's your baby. You're okay to be a little bit involved. Plus, you probably really like John and David and you want to help them succeed. So it's really not a bad thing to work with them a couple hours a week. So we make $125,000 the first year, then we make $125,000 the second year, and now we've made more than the $200,000 we would have made if we sold the company. But also, you still have $125,000 a year coming in. And if we use the example from above, $125,000 is 6% of about $2 million. That would be the equivalent. Bringing in $125K a year pretty passively would be the equivalent of having $2 million invested in the bank. And that's why I don't recommend selling your painting company. Instead, I recommend giving your best team members an amazing opportunity to take over the company, increase their upside, and then your job is just to help them and support them, which takes you into phase 3, which is what's next. Now you've got all the income you need to support your lifestyle, and you've got your time. And that is like the dream come true, is to have time and money to live the life you want to live. Maybe you want to go start another business. Maybe you want to go and do philanthropy, or maybe you want to volunteer. Maybe you want to start a nonprofit, or maybe you want to go and travel the world for the next 2 years with your friends and family and enjoy everything that life has to offer because you've earned it. And the most amazing thing is that this whole process can be accomplished in a matter of years. All right, so there's not a lot of other places where you can do that in an industry where there's guaranteed work. This business is huge, the market is huge, there's tons and tons of business, and you don't need to carve out that big of a piece of the pie for you to be wildly successful. So to sell or not to sell, this is what I recommend doing, because selling your business is not going to really pay you what it's really worth, because this is an amazing setup to have. So that's my advice, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll be releasing more videos as we go. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon.